And in the passages where he's praising the fallen dead, he spends as much time, if not more time, praising the city itself than the men. And he says things like this. In talking about Athens, the home city of the fallen dead, whom he's supposed to be praising, he says, "Our constitution does not copy the laws of neighboring states. We are rather a pattern to others than imitators ourselves." He says Athens is a pattern to other city-states. He says, "We cultivate refinement without extravagance, and knowledge without effeminacy. Wealth we employ more for use than for show, and place the real disgrace of poverty not in owning to the fact, but in declining the struggle against it." So again, Athens is a model to the rest of the world. We're models of restraint, models of power for practical purposes and not for mere show. And finally he says, "In short, I say that as a city we are the school of Hellas. While I doubt if the world can produce a man who, where he has only himself to depend upon, is equal to so many emergencies and graced by so happy a versatility as the Athenian." And so he praises Athens. He says, we're the school of Hellas, the school of Greece. Everyone looks to us to learn what being a Greek is. And then, having concluded his praise of Athens, he says, "So died these men as became Athenians." These men are representatives of the city of Athens. And so if we ask the question, why is he spending so much time praising the city instead of the men whose death is the occasion of this speech? The answer is, just as in all wars, if men are brought back from the battlefield dead, and there's dissatisfaction on the home front with the fact of the war, then there's always a suspicion that the men died in vain. And here again, think of a modern parallel. When modern American soldiers are brought back, their remains are brought back in coffins from modern wars, Vietnam or the Gulf War, Iraq, Afghanistan. And you saw this less in World War II, but in recent decades there's been more of this. There's been real open public questioning of the value of the war. And so when the families receive the dead bodies of their men back, there's a question on everybody's mind. Did these men die in vain? And Pericles is soundly refuting that. No, they didn't die in vain, he says, because this is the city they died for. So in praising the city, he's elevating the reputation of the men. This is the great city that they died for, so their death was not in vain. This is a city that is worth dying for. These are ideals that are worth dying for. These are virtues and actions that Athens does on behalf of the rest of the Greek world that are worth dying for. So he concludes his speech praising the men and then encouraging the families to take comfort